the 4th of July weekend here in the States. I know Sean, we do have some people that watch from other countries, some guys from Canada, some guys from Germany as well. So whoever shows up, thanks for being here. Sean, we are 70 days away from Bills-Rams to kick off the year. And as of right now, I keep going back and forth on who I think will win that game. So welcome to the show. And who do you think? I know we're 10 weeks away, but any early predictions?
I can't even give an early prediction yet. It's too far away. It could change. That could change 100 times between now and then on who wins that game and who could win the game and what even is the outcome. I mean, you got plenty of free agency yet. There's still injuries that could happen, training camp. There's just so much that could happen between now and then, honestly, to change the outcome of that game.
So, yeah, but getting excited. I mean, 70 days, it's going to go by quick. Summer usually does go by quick. So, but let's while we wait for some people to come in and join the show, let's look at some of the headlines we got going on here in the NFL. Before we start diving into our top 20 fantasy running backs this week. Last week we did fantasy quarterbacks. So, Sean, are you still happy with how your top 10 fantasy quarterbacks ended up?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm always going to outdo you, so I'm pretty sure mine will always end up better than yours.
Oh, man, that's funny. So let's take a look here. Kareem Hunt says he's 100% healthy after injury-riddled 2021. Hunt's definitely going to be the backup in Cleveland. But your thoughts, is Hunt on any of your fantasy radars?
No, he's not, just because I'm not really going to go for a guy that I hate the guys that are backups and have that secondary role. They're the downage here, downage there kind of people. So for that point, it's that I usually don't go with a backup like Kareem Hunt or even like a Melvin Gordon. I try to stay away from them. Even like all the running backs in Miami, like I'm not going to draft them because they scare the backfield so much. So therefore, those are like not worthy of drafting. Even if a last round option, I'd rather draft another wide receiver or another defense at that point.
Right, agree with you. I don't like him either. Harold's here. Harold, thank you for being here. He's our Detroit Lions fan, and he's loving golf. I don't know what the deal with that is.
Probably because it annoys you, so you got to keep going with it. That's what I do every day.
Just to annoy me, huh?
Absolutely. Everything to annoy you is the best thing ever.
So let's keep looking through some of the headlines here. Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson disciplinary hearing ending after 3 days and no timetable for a ruling. What do you think, Sean? Some rulings are the NFL wants at least a year. There were rumors that the judge is only going to go 8 weeks. But what do you think? How long do you think it should be?
I mean, Ray Rice got a year. Adrian Peterson got pretty much, I think it was like 6 weeks or something.
Yep.
So you figure these players are sitting here and they're getting full suspensions for doing less, sorta. And this guy we're up to 25 cases already that we know about. How many of those cases don't we know about yet?
And what came out is I didn't know he settled with 20 of these women. So he has already paid out money to 20 of these 25 women.
Yeah, and the worst part about it is we've sat here and talked about Watson for months now. Mm-hmm. Alvin Kamara has gone unknown about, and we don't even know what's going on.
Right. Well, and I was texting you the other day. According to Pat McAfee, I was listening to his show the other day, and it sounds like he's going to get 6 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, honestly.
How bad do you think that hurts his fantasy value if he misses 6 weeks?
Not at all.
You don't think so?
Nope.
Okay.
I think it makes it better for the fact that you're then going to draft the backup, and then you're going to have both. You could have the backup and a starter. It's kind of like if Kamara then is out, you already have a backup role ready to go.
Gotcha. But with Watson, what do you think? If the Watson suspension comes down, any way Baker Mayfield could start for the Browns this year?
No, he is not starting. The only thing he's going to start is a starting role on the bench.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Harold says Detroit's offense is going to run wild. Oh, my goodness. All I know is for the fantasy league, for the channel, that better be his starting quarterback.
Every week, even on the bye.
Even on the bye. So let's look here. Some NBA news. I don't know how that ended up in my football feed here. USC in college news. USC and UCLA planning to move from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten. I think if that happens, they should have to change the name of the Big Ten because there's already 11 or 12 teams in the Big Ten. So I don't know how you can keep calling yourself the Big Ten.
Yeah, and the Pac-12 lost 2 teams, so it'll be the Pac-10.
So the Pac-10, yeah. Baseball news, more U.S. The Falcons have waived punter Dom Maggio. Oh, Sean. Punters are people too, bud.
Absolutely.
There is optimism surrounding a potentially huge deal for 49ers star receiver Deebo Samuel. I know he's not happy there. Well, he wasn't happy because of how many carries he was getting. I don't necessarily know if it was financial. I think they were trying to pay him as a running back and not as a star wide receiver, I think was the issue.
Yeah, I think he wanted to get paid too.
Yeah, so Baker can back up Goff and warm his bench. Oh my goodness.
That should be his team name, the Big Golf.
I don't know why I deal with this.
I've asked that question for a while now.
How will the Ravens respond to missing the playoffs for the first time since Lamar Jackson became the team's quarterback? Depending on which Lamar comes back, I think they're the best team in that division.
Stop it.
Who's better than Baltimore in that division on paper?
Cincinnati.
No, not on paper. They're not.
Cincinnati.
No, their defense isn't as good.
And Baltimore's offense isn't as good, so therefore they even out.
I don't know.
And what are you going to do? Compare kickers?
No. Well, kickers. Baltimore. I'm taking Tucker.
No way.
Oh my goodness. More NBA news showing up in our feed here. Former Seahawks linebacker KJ Wright has clear preference as to who he would like his former team to choose as their starting quarterback. Not Drew Lock.
And not Baker.
Is that what it says?
I'll tell you, not Baker Mayfield.
Geno Smith, it says. I don't know what's going on here. Odds to win Super Bowl and regular season MVP, Sean. Some betting odds here. Let's look at these. I like this. Bills are my favorite to win the Super Bowl this year.
I already said Josh Allen's winning MVP.
Oh, man. Wonder where that's through. Bordeaux, California. Oh, Pokemon Escape. Nobody caught it. I didn't even see it get announced in the chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So let's see. We both kind of agree that the Bills and Josh Allen. But who would be next on your list? Chiefs, Mahomes, Bucks, Brady. Definitely not Packers, Rodgers. I don't see the Packers winning the Super Bowl.
It's honestly hard to say because the NFC side of the ball and teams are all open. Honestly, anybody could kind of jump in there. And with the AFC as well, I mean, you can't sit here and say that Derek Carr and the Raiders couldn't go on a run. I think it all comes down at the end of the day is the injuries and how many you have at the end of the day. If you have a lot, you're going to be probably a pretty bad year. If you have minimum injuries on the key players, you're going to succeed throughout as much as you can.
Yeah, so let's keep looking through some of the news here. No, who cares? Why? I don't know why all my NFL guys are talking NBA, but whatever. So, Sean, like I said on, did you see Harold's comment?
Wow, I can't with him.
Punter. Oh, actually, that's why that's why the Falcons released the punter. They signed punter Bradley Pinion, after his
From the
release from the
Bucks,
Buccaneers. So
they do punt the ball a lot down there. So
former Brown Odell Beckham sold his house in Cleveland, ending speculation a return could ever happen.
it wasn't ever going to happen, anyways.
Yeah, I never saw any rumors of that. I actually haven't seen any rumors of where he might sign anyway. Have you seen anything where he might sign?
Not really, honestly. I mean, it's been quiet, probably because he's injured.
Yeah, but I would figure if he was going to change from the Rams, I would think he would want to sign somewhere and just to get the playbook and you know what I mean?
He could just end up signing with the Rams after all. I mean, he could just sit here and wait until he's ready to play. And then I'll sign when I can play again. Like, I'm not able to play right now, so why should I sit here and sign a contract?
Yeah, maybe I don't know. So all right, let's dive in. We both came up with our top 20 running backs. Let's get that up on the screen here. I do have that somewhere here. 20 running backs, and I have a banner to put at the bottom. Let's see here, Sean. Slides. We're going to start with you again. And you have, let me turn the light on. Hold on 1 second.
All right.
Just a little dark here in this corner of the office with no light on. But yeah, coming in at number 20, you have Antonio Gibson. Why is he in your top 20? Let me get my projections up so I can see where we actually have him projected. But yeah, thoughts on Gibson in Washington?
Honestly, it's just because he shares the backfield, so that's why I kind of have him as the 20th best. He's not going to go out and put stellar numbers up, but he's going to put consistent numbers up throughout the year. And I think playing with Carson Wentz, that's going to be I think it might hurt him a little bit more just because Carson's going to be able to throw the ball. They're not going to be more relying on running the game, kind of like when he was in Philly and Indy. You're not really relying on the running game, but when the running game works and successful, you're going to keep going to it. So I think, honestly, it's going to come down to it. If Gibson's having that 125, 150-yard game going on, then he's going to get the ball more. But when he's having that 25-yard game, they're not going to keep, all right, let's hand him the ball 10 more times.
Yeah,
so
and sorry, go ahead.
So for that being said, I think that's why he's my 20th. I just couldn't see him being any higher, honestly, just because sharing the backfield and the team he's on.
Now, you say sharing the backfield. Now, I just looked. We have the projections. I have him projected at 242 carries, where McKissick would be next, and I only have him at 62. So,
yeah,
not
see,
that.
Do you
think it's a bigger split than that?
Yeah, I do, just because McKissick's coming back from injury, so I think he's going to be better overall, and I think they're not going to wear Gibson down because last year at the end of the year he was getting tired, beat up, injured, so you're not going to keep beating a dead horse there.
Let me look at my notes here as well for Gibson. Okay. Coming in at number 19 for you, you had Josh Jacobs from the Raiders. Why do you like Jacobs here?
I like him at 19 just because I think with Las Vegas' new offensive receiver help, they're not going to run the ball nearly as much, but they're going to run more, I think, instead of relying, hoping he gets that 50-yard gain. All right, we're inside the red zone, inside the 5. Let's hand it to Jacobs. We're not going to try to throw the ball and get an interception or turnover. So I think more of his points are honestly going to come from touchdowns than they will with yards. and he's not really a reception back just because of his size. So they're not going to go relying on him receiving the ball out of the backfield there in Las Vegas. So I think that being said, honestly, he's dependent more on the rushing game, and I think where his kind of like James Conner, his rushing game is going to pick up this year. I think now, especially because he's also, I believe, in a contract year.
And we have just to go back to Gibson. Gibson has an average draft position of 30. So what do you think? That would, if you're in a 10-team league, that's definitely third round.
Yeah, and you also got to think 30th isn't bad because that's about the ninth, probably about the 15th best running back there with the receivers and tight end. Because really, there's only 3 tight ends that are getting taken inside the top 30, 3 to 4. So reality, 19th ranked running back isn't too bad, I don't think.
So, and then Josh Jacobs got an average draft position of 43. Fourth or fifth round to get Jacobs. You taking Jacobs that early?
No, I'm not taking him that early, honestly. I think he's like a 5th to 6th rounder to me.
Yeah. So let's keep going through your list here. At number 18, you have J.K. Dobbins. I believe Dobbins missed all of last season with the Ravens, so coming back from injury.
Yeah, I think.
Why do you like him here?
I just think he's destined for a breakout year. Coming back from injury, I mean, the guy has to have that make or break year, and I think it's going to happen this year. He's got a lot to prove, and the chip on your shoulder is there. And they're going to get rid of the ball more to Dobbins now that he's healthy, and less on Lamar. You can't keep relying on Lamar because look at last year, his ankle is getting banged up, twisted. You need your franchise quarterback healthy. So for that being said, I think Dobbins being healthy now, I think that's going to change the running game a lot, and they're going to rely more on him now out of the backfield, where less Lamar, more Dobbins.
So Dobbins average draft position 31st overall. So late third, early fourth, according to his average draft position.
Yeah,
I think you can take a chance and wait for some of these other guys actually.
Yeah, I think he's like the 3rd to 5th round, honestly, just because I don't think he's a top 3 just because of the amount of receivers that are available. And around the 3rd to 4th round, you're going to start thinking quarterback, honestly, in a 10-man league, depending on what kind of league it is.
So let's keep going through your list here. At number 17, you have Ezekiel Elliott. Zeke's got 20 average draft position of 26. We have him projected at 904 rushing yards and 200 receiving yards. Why do you like Zeke here at 17?
Honestly, I like him at 17 just because I honestly like Tony Pollard more for the rushing game in Dallas, and I like Zeke more for the receiving side of the ball. So I think more of his points are going to come receiving over rushing just because of his size. And when he gets outside, he gets some lead rushers going, blockers going, and he's good to go. Where when he's running the ball, he doesn't seem to be able to find the spots to move better, and he doesn't see the field as good as he did in the beginning of his career in Dallas, the first and second year. So I think that being said, I think him more being a receiving back and Pollard being more the running back side.
Let's look at your number 16. You got Nick Chubb here at number 16. Why down at 16 and not maybe higher? He has an average draft position of 11, so definitely late first, early second. I would say, before you give your reason, I would say the question marks at quarterback would be the biggest concern for me.
Yeah, that's my biggest concern. What is the quarterback situation going to end up being? How is it going to affect Nick Chubb? And the second thing, we talked about it earlier in the stream, Kareem Hunt is back healthy. Mm-hmm. So, and they signed Ernest Johnson from Baltimore. So that's 3 running backs now that can run the ball in there. So for that being said, I don't really think Nick Chubb has that breakout year like we expected him to, especially now he's got to fill more time with Kareem Hunt. And we don't really know who his quarterback's going to be. When Watson came in, it's like, all right, well, you can expect to kind of be him being a receiving back. He could be the running back, a little bit of everything. But now we're not really sure what it could be. If you have a quarterback that can't be mobile and maybe open the field more, it's going to be another Baker situation where he might not see the ball receiving-wise a lot. So, honestly, I think that's why he's the 16th best for me. I just think that his numbers aren't going to be over the top and mind blowing like we all hoped that would happen.
So right now, Chubb, we have projected at 253 carries, 1,300 yards, and 8 touchdowns. What are you thinking? That's too high?
It's honestly, it's hard to think just because of what the quarterback situation is going to be. I mean, if Watson were to play, that could be a game changer for Chubb, and we just don't know it. So that it's hard to say how it could end up being because I don't want to sit here and say he's going to have a great year, but he could honestly have a bad year just because of what quarterback situation it is in Cleveland going on. And with Kareem Hunt and Dearness Johnson, they're also going to make them also incorporated in there. So Nick Chubb might just see the yardage, but when it comes to touchdowns, you might not see a lot of them.
Gotcha. So let's keep moving through your list here. We're down to number 15. A player you like a lot more than I do, Saquon Barkley. Why do you like Saquon, who can't seem to stay healthy every year?
I think this year is the year he stays healthy, and I think this is the year that honestly he has that breakout year for New York just because the quarterback, Daniel Jones, you're not really sure what you're going to get with Danny Dimes. So with that being said, they're going to hand the ball off a lot more, I think, and I think the head coach is going to rely on handing the ball off a lot more. When you have Saquon back there, you got to use him to your advantage, and the coaches weren't using them to his advantage, and he was getting banged up doing and kind of I wouldn't say dumb plays, but not plays worthy of risking injury, and it was end up happening. So with that being said, I think he honestly has a great year, and I think he has that breakout season that he's been wanting to have since his rookie year.
So right now, Barkley, I have at 225 carries, 890 yards, 6 touchdowns, but adding 50 receptions and another 250 yards there. What do you think? The 880, I have 887 to be exact on the rushing side. Do you think he goes above that?
Yes, honestly, I think Saquon has a 1,500-yard season combined this year. I really do. I think he could have a 200-yard receiving game in one game just because of the mobility he has and the size and the way he sees the field. I mean, he's shown that when he played at Penn State, playing against the big name schools, that he could see the field really good. So I think that's going to honestly help him a lot.
So Harold trying to catch the Pokemon over there in the chat, but it says he doesn't own that ball. I don't know what's up with that. Oh, maybe he's probably out of Pokemon balls.
Probably.
So let's keep looking here. Actually, let me just make sure we're caught up in the chat here. Nothing going on over here. So let's go down to number 14. Number 14, you have Javonte Williams from Denver. I like him. Let me just look to see where we have him at. We have him projected at 219 carries, just under 1,000 yards, 6 rushing touchdowns, but adding 43 receptions, another 200 plus yards catching out of the backfield, and another 3 touchdowns there. But yeah, your thoughts on Williams here at 14?
Honestly, I think he's more going to be the running back game this year and less receiving. And I think that's where Melvin Gordon's kind of going to come into play. I think he's honestly going to come in and he's going to be that receiving back, change of pace back, and so therefore they're going to use him for that. And they're not going to have Williams going out there and trying to catch the ball out of the backfield and get injured when he's the running back, their star running back of the future. So I think that's where Melvin Gordon kind of gets going, that's why he got signed to be. So with that being said, I think that's why he's number 14 on me. I think he's going to have the rushing yards, but he's not going to have any receiving, so that's going to hurt his PPR points each game and then throughout the season, and that's going to honestly hurt him a lot. So, but I think with his rushing yards, it'll make up for him and still be the 14th best running back at the end of the year.
Gotcha. And at the end of the year, like we did last year. Now, unfortunately, last year we didn't get our projections out in time for the season. So this year we are putting our names on our rankings and our projections. So we will compare after the It's Your Boy Ninja. Thank you for being here. Thanks for stopping by. Sean and I are giving our top starting our top 20 list at running backs. So far, we've done 14 through 20 for Shawn. We'll keep going here. So Shawn at number 13. Where are you going at 13?
I got to go with David Montgomery here. I just think that he's too good in Chicago, and honestly, I think he deserves to be on a better team. He reminds me of Saquon. He just gets used in the wrong situations, gets banged up, and there you go, your season's done. Mm-hmm. So I think, honestly, he's a good player for what they have, and Justin Fields is going to start using him more out of the backfield. So I think that's where he's going to start getting more points, is coming out of the backfield, getting those receptions, getting upfield that way. He's also able to see the field really good inside of the 10-yard line. So I think that's being said, he's going to get the touchdowns, and then he's going to start improving there on that side of the ball where he's getting more scores and more receptions going, and he gets his points that way for fantasy numbers as well as his overall stats in a season. He's got to open up his playbook more and start being more, especially with the lack of receivers in Chicago. I think David Montgomery is going to step up and help out with that, kind of like Kamara does with the Saints, and as well as Eckler does with the Chargers. They help out when they're lacking the receptions out of the receivers.
Gotcha. So any concern, Montgomery being in Chicago, like you said, the receivers, they definitely need help at the receiver position. But what about Fields? Teams aren't scared of Fields yet, so that could hurt Montgomery's numbers as well.
Yeah, I think that's where it's going to come into play. Is Montgomery's been there for a few years, so I think he's going to be able to help out Fields and be able to get receptions coming his way a little bit more and help out with the first downs and third down and distances. I think that honestly is going to where he gets improvement this offseason, and it helps him start getting better.
So let's keep going through your list here. Coming in at number 12, you have Aaron Jones. Why that high at number 12? And what do you like about Jones in that Packers offense?
I also like Aaron Jones with Aaron Rodgers. They've worked together. Aaron Jones didn't sign his extension there for no reason, and he would have requested a trade if he wasn't happy with how it's working out with him and A.J. Dillon. So I think that being said, I think he's going to honestly get more touches out of the backfield. He has shown when he can run down the field 30, 40 yards and the ball get thrown his way, and he can catch it, unlike most running backs where they would drop it probably. And he also sees the field really well. I've watched a lot of his games because of the way the Packers schedule always works out. They're always on TV, obviously, especially for us on the East Coast. So you see a lot of Aaron Jones, and he just sees the field really well from the backfield. You'll see he'll tiptoe around, and all of a sudden it's just like a speed of burst, and he's gone. So that helps him a lot. A.J. Dillon is great there, but he's too big of a running back to have speed. So he's not going to go breaking no 50, 60-yard running game where Aaron Jones could have a 65, 70-yard touchdown on the first play of the game running the ball. And he probably can, without a doubt, in my mind, have a 60 to 70-yard touchdown receiving-wise even, just because of the way he can maneuver, and he's so small, so he can just bounce around and juke people, spin people.
So we'll keep an eye on Jones there in Green Bay. Harold says, also remember Chicago picked up Evans. He's a running back. Darrington Evans. I only have Evans projected to get 10 carries this year. So I don't know how big of a factor he'll be in that offense. So Shawn, coming in at number 11 for you is James Conner. You have him at 11. I actually have him higher than that. But why 11? And
just because he lost his second-hand man from last year, so now he's going to be the sole provider of the backfield. And I think that being said, his running game is going to change a lot. His PPR game is going to change a lot, and the lack of touchdowns is going to go down a lot more. He's not going to be out there having 2 touchdown games like he did at the beginning of the year. I think the first 8 games of last year he had a touchdown. You're not going to get that this year now that he's the main guy, because people are going to start watching him. They're going to follow him. So I think that he's honestly only destined to have that outside top 10 numbers because of the fact that Kyler Murray is mobile. So the running game kind of changes a lot. I think we're helped Connors a lot last year. If he would have had half the touchdowns, he had half the fantasy points. All his points came from touchdowns on his fantasy side of the game. So I think that's what's going to hurt him a lot this year is the lack of touchdowns.
So that was your 11 through 20. Let's just do another. This way. Let's just go through it one more time real quick. Antonio Gibson at 20. 19, Josh Jacobs with the Raiders. 18, J.K. Dobbins coming back from injury with the Ravens. 17 is Ezekiel Elliott. 16, Nick Chubb with the Browns. 15, Saquon Barkley with the Giants. It will be interesting to see how they use Saquon there in that new offense. 14, Williams with the Broncos. 13, David Montgomery with the Bears. Number 12, Aaron Jones with the Packers. And once again, James Conner at number 11. So, Shawn, right now, for those that are here watching, they are getting ready to show advertisements. So I will wait until after the ads run to start mine. So I'm not sure if Harold's still here. Harold, if you're not a subscriber, let me know if the ads are running. And I don't want to dive into my top 11 through 20 if people are missing out. So we will put up on the screen, Shawn. Let's put this back up here to see. Nothing new here with the news here. Wait for the decision. Some Giants news there. Some TB12 news. Nope. And then back to Kareem Hunt there. Oh, sorry, Shawn. No, you I don't know. I don't know. It's saying it's running, so I don't know why.
Fine.
It's saying run. Harold, if you're here, let us know if there's an ad running. But I will get my top 20 ready to go. So yeah, I mean, Shawn, I was surprised. I mean, we'll go through mine here. We definitely don't have a lot the same. For quarterbacks, we pretty much we had them usually within one or two of each other. Where running backs, we are quite different on running backs.
I think I can't wait to see the receivers when we come out with them, just for the fact of me and you have two different sides of what we look for in a receiver and what we want out of a receiver.
Yeah, so we'll do that. We'll start that one next Thursday as well. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, we definitely saw with the running backs when I saw your top 20 to my top 20. It's two different top 20s, but I think overall it's a good thing to see a different change because that's why I'm the two-time champion in fantasy and I beat you every year.
You do beat me every year. The 1 year, your first championship was against me, and then last year you beat me in the playoffs to go to your second championship. So, and speaking of that, I did talk to Jay Philly. He signed up. We are doing that league again. So you can go up and sign. I got to go in and sign up for my team as well. So he said he did do that, and we do have he said we do have a full league as long as Tyler and Pennsylvania come back as well. So, but
sounds good to me.
I'll make sure with Pennsylvania that he's coming back. Ads in progress. It says they ended, Shawn. So let's get to my top 20.
Let's kick off what you got.
I do have notes here on my end. So I have Montgomery at 20. Last year he finished 20th last year. He did miss 3 games to injury. But this year I have him projected in our projections top 10. But I don't know. I think there's too many question marks in Chicago with Fields and that wide receiver group.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I think he will struggle there, and that's why I went with him there at number 20.
So,
Go ahead.
So with that being said, you think him struggling, why would he be your 20th and not have someone else?
What's that?
With him struggling with Fields, then you think, why would he be 20th and not lower maybe and be outside your top 20?
No, just because I do have him projected. I do have him projected at number 10. So he's definitely got value. But I just think his numbers aren't going to be top 10 worthy, but definitely top 20 worthy. If that makes sense.
Sounds good. I just wasn't sure what made you have him at 20th instead of a little higher, maybe.
Yeah, so that's why I just have too many questions there with the quarterback and the wide receiver room in Chicago.
All right, well, let's see what you have at number 19.
At number 19, I have Travis Etienne, who missed all of last year with the Jags. So he didn't have a rating from last year. Like I said, missed all of last year. This year, I have him, according to projections, I have him 24th. But I like him a little bit more than that just because I believe the first 6 weeks, Robinson is out. So he should be the starting running back. And if given that opportunity, I don't think he gives it back. So I do see him finishing top 20 for fantasy running backs next season.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the hardest part is the top 20 is how, with Etienne, how is he going to be with Robinson when he does come back? So I think that honestly is going to be the biggest thing, the biggest question mark, I think, just because when Robinson comes back, how does the share in the backfield go overall with both teams? With both players, should I say.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, that will be interesting. I don't know how I believe Doug Peterson's a new head coach there, right?
Yes.
So
And
it'll be interesting to see how he does split those carries.
Yeah, I think honestly that's going to be the biggest question mark is what kind of carrying backfield do you have when Robinson was a rookie and then after his rookie season he drafted another rookie running back and then what kind of comes about at the ending of this?
Yeah, so Harold wants to know when is the draft happening because I work weekends. I don't know. We'll have to see. I think there's still only 6 teams signed up. So once we start getting fuller, maybe we'll do it Thursday night. I can have it up on the screen while we're live streaming. If he works weekends, we definitely won't do it on a Sunday then.
No, but we could always do it at Sunday night
or another day during the week. We'll figure that out to make sure everybody can be there.
Yeah, but let's see what you have at number 18 here.
Number 18, I have Elijah Mitchell with the 49ers. Last year he finished 24th. I have him projected 21st this year. He did miss 5 games last year, and he finished 24th. So those 5 games, I think he can improve into the top 20. Last year, he wasn't even supposed to get the starting job. Trey Sermon was. So Sermon is back from injury. But another thing, a little bit lower here, instead of having him higher, is what's going to happen with the 49ers quarterback. I know Jimmy G's still there now, but if Jimmy G stays there, I think Mitchell could be top 15.
Yeah, and I think that's where honestly it comes down to is what the quarterback situation happens there. It's kind of the same thing in Cleveland. What is their quarterback situation? So what kind of comes about it that could change how it ends up being overall? I mean, what if the quarterback situation isn't that great? It could end up being a really bad season for the running backs there.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they think because, like I said, last year going into the year, we had Sermon projected higher, and then he gets hurt and misses the year. Mitchell comes out of nowhere, and finishes 24th in fantasy rankings for running back. So, are they going to go with the 2-headed monster? But I think Mitchell will get more of the carries if he does. Kind of like last year with Williams and the other running back there in Denver.
Gordon.
Yeah, they still both rushed for 900 yards there in Denver last year. So they were still good running backs last year. So I think that could happen in San Francisco as well. But once again, is it Lance or is it Jimmy G?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. So let's see what you have at number 17 here.
Number 17, I have rookie Brees Hall with the New York Jets. The Jets traded up in the draft to get him. He's going to be their workhorse. Now, he will split carries with Michael Carter. And a lot of these experts think that split will be 50-50. I don't think so. I think it'll be about 65-35 in favor of Hall. Hall will definitely get the majority of the carries. Hall can catch the ball out of the backfield just like Carter can. Hall is bigger, so he's definitely going to be a better goal line back as well. So I think he'll get more touchdowns. He'll just get more touches than Carter, and I think he'll definitely be in the 15 to 20 range at the end of the year for running backs.
Interesting. That's an interesting take, honestly, just because obviously you're a Jets fan, so you see a lot more of that stuff on what Brees Hall is going to end up being. I'm just concerned him being a rookie, how that is with the Jets and the defenses that they play against.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, while you got that, let me look. I do have our, I won't put it up on screen, but let's look. The Jets do play, let's see. I know we're going off of last year's numbers, but fantasy points allowed, the Jets have the 28th schedule. So they're playing teams, going by last year, teams that gave up a lot of points to running backs.
Yeah, so I think that could definitely help him a lot. But again, him being a rookie, it's different from college to the NFL. Right. That could be his hardest thing is how it changes him.
Right, agreed.
But let's see what you have at number 16 here.
So coming in at number 16, I took a little bit of a gamble here. I liked him going into before he got injured last year. I did like Akers. So you can't really go by last year's rankings because he finished 153rd out of all the running backs, only because he played one game. He had like 3 carries for 5 yards the last game of the year, something like that. But he was good in the playoffs. So I don't know. Just the way things shook out, I like them better than I would take Akers over the other guys that I've listed already: Montgomery, Etienne, Mitchell, and Hall. I think he'll have a bigger impact this year. But you do have that injury risk with Akers.
Yeah, that's his hardest problem is the risk of injury coming back again with repeat injuries.
Yep. So a big question mark if you take Akers, but I still have him. If he plays the year, I have him ranked 16th at running back.
All right, well, let's see what you have ahead of him in 15.
15, I have Josh Jacobs with the Raiders. Problem is, I looked at it, and at first I'm like, oh, man, 15th, that might be too low for Jacobs. He finished 16th last year. We actually have him projected at 17th. So right around where he needs to be. But I think there's too many receiving weapons there. So that could cut into anything he does receiving wise out of the backfield. And I do like the fact that they drafted Zamir White to be the backup there. So I think White could actually cut into some of his not only rushing attempts, but some of his catches out of the backfield, knocking Jacobs down a little bit from the top 10.
Yeah, and see, that's why I had him at 19, where you have him at 15. So that's like a bigger difference for me and you, just because that's the difference that could end up being where you said we have him ranked at 17th, where he's kind of in the middle where we have them both at our projections.
Yep. So, I mean, another guy. I love that offense. I think they're going to score a ton of points.
Absolutely.
But it came down to me for Zamir White because I know a lot of people have Jacobs in the top 10, but I think with Adams and drafting Zamir White, like I said, I think that cuts into Jacobs' numbers.
Yeah, I do think so. It'll hurt him a little bit. But let's see what you have at your number 14.
Number 14, I have Ezekiel Elliott. And I couldn't come up with anything for Zeke. Last year, he finished 6th overall. We have him projected at 18 this year. Zeke's just one of those guys. He puts up his numbers. Doesn't seem to be too flashy. I don't know.
Yeah, and I had him at 17, so it's only a 3 rank difference for me and you, but you have to look at it like I said with Tony Pollard. I think is a big difference maker.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Pollard, especially at the end of last year, was definitely getting more touches. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out there as well.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's jump to number 13 for you.
All right. Number 13, I have Antonio Gibson, where I believe you had him at number 20.
I did.
Gibson only missed 1 game last year. I thought it was more than that. I was surprised when I looked at it that it was only 1 game. He did finish top 10 last year, number 10. We have him projected at 15th. But I think since he was 10 last year, he's going to drop down a little bit. I think having Wentz at quarterback is going to hurt his numbers a little bit. I think they're going to be able to throw the ball a little bit more.
That's exactly why I had him at number 20 for me, is just because of the offense changing now.
Yep. So that's why I still like him. I think he gets anywhere from 15 to 20 attempts a game. So running the ball, but yeah, having Wentz at quarterback, I think cuts into his numbers, and that's why he dropped from say top 10 to 13 here.
I mean, I have him 7 spots lower, barely making the top 20. So definitely a big difference maker between me and you and what we think of Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see what we have at number 12 for you.
Number 12, I have Javonte Williams with the Broncos. Actually, the more and more I look into this kid, I absolutely love him. He went to, I believe he went to North Carolina with Michael Carter. So he's used to splitting carries, but I think that split last year it was perfect. It was 50-50. They both had him and Gordon both had 203 attempts. I think this year Williams actually goes up from 50-50 to say 55 to 60% of the workload for Williams. And adding Russell Wilson is definitely going to open up that offense. They're not having Drew Lock and whoever they had there last year hurt that offense, and he still rushed for just under 1,000 yards. So adding Russell Wilson there is definitely going to help that running offense there. So just missing my top 10.
Alrighty, and let's see who rounds out your 20 through 11th rank.
I have James Conner here. Conner last year missed 2 games. And he still finished 5th, the 5th ranked running back. But what did that was his touchdowns. In his first year in Arizona, he had a total of 18 touchdowns, rushing and receiving combined. Where in the 2 years previous, 19 and 20 combined, he only had 13 touchdowns. So I mean, he had more touchdowns last year than the 2 years previous combined.
Yeah, and at the same time, me and you also only have Conner. And the first 10 rankings, me and you are the only time with Conner is the same as number 11. So
number 11. So
we had all of them are different in different orders. Or the only player we had different is I had Barkley, and you didn't, and we had obviously the different numbers going and coming. So that definitely is good thing because it shows our variety of what we think of running backs. But I guess let's go over your recap of 20 through 11.
Sure. And like this is we are just going, this is preseason, and on a weekly basis, these guys might not be we might like a guy like week 1, we might like a guy even though we have him ranked, say Breece Hall week 1. I don't think he's the 17th best running back in week 1 going up against Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
Like I would stay away from him week 1. But
absolutely.
So but yeah, at number 20 I had Montgomery there with the Bears. Number 19, Travis Etienne coming back from injury with Jacksonville. Number 18, Elijah Mitchell with the 49ers. The question mark there is definitely quarterback. And how do they see Trey Sermon fitting in that offense? Because last year, going into last season, we had Sermon with more catches. Goff will be the number 1 running back. Coming in at number 17, I have rookie Breece Hall with the Jets. I absolutely love this pick. On draft night, the Jets traded up in the second round, and the Jets were trying to trade back up into the first round to get him in the first round again, even though they did that once to get Jermaine Johnson, and they were trying to do it again to get Breece Hall, but they still end up with him in the second round. So I have him at 17. Number 16 got Cam Akers with the Rams. High powered offense there. If he can stay healthy, love this guy out of the backfield for the Rams. 15 Jacobs. A lot of guys, like I said, a lot of guys have him top 10. I got him here at 15. I think there's too many weapons there with the Raiders. I think that could hurt him a little bit. And Zamir White, drafting Zamir White's going to hurt some of those numbers as well. And I believe Jacobs is in his contract year.
I believe so.
So maybe they might even just move on now that they have White as well.
Yeah, they could if it works out in that way.
Yep. So at number 14, I had Ezekiel Elliott with the Cowboys. He's just consistent. He's going to put up his numbers. But like you said, Pollard, you got to look out for Pollard. Pollard's going to cut into those numbers a little bit. Taking Zeke from 6 last year, I dropped him down to 14 this year.
Yeah, and at number 13, you have
I have Antonio Gibson. I do like him. I know Washington added Wentz, added Dotson at wide receiver in the first round this year. You think the carries will be a little bit more split with Gibson and McKissick? I don't. I do like Gibson getting the workload there. But yeah, dropping him from last year from a number 10 running back to I have him at 13, but projected at 15. So once again, another guy that drops out of the top 10, going that way. So coming in at number 12, Williams with the Broncos, finished 18th last year, 16th this year. Like I said, he split carries with Gordon 50-50 last year. But this year, I think he gets more of the workload. And having Russell Wilson there in Denver is going to be a big help.
I do think that will definitely be a big help for him, honestly. And then rounding out your first 10.
James Conner again with Arizona. He was 5th last year. I have him dropping to 11 this year. We have him projected at 12th. And I don't think he's going to score. He had 18 touchdowns last year. I think we have him projected at 13 or 15 this year, combined something like that. So his numbers are going to drop. And like you said, losing the backup, is he going to be able to handle a bigger workload there in Arizona?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest concern, honestly.
So, man. So
that was our 20 through 11.
Yeah.
For
so
our part 1.
Let's go back over here to this. Oops. Let's get rid of this. Hide that. I know we do have different, and we do have some players that you don't have in your top 20 where I do. You have guys like Saquon. I don't have him in my top 20 at all. So, and that's the thing. Who's wrong and who's right, you know? But the good thing is we don't know until they're playing the games, and at the end of the year, we'll see how we fare.
Yeah, absolutely. It could definitely be an interesting season, especially like I said. Once we get the receivers going, I'd love to see what our difference is in receivers. When it comes to the tight end position, I think we're honestly going to have almost identical, just because the position is so far and few of players that could have breakout years.
Right, agreed. Yeah, we'll probably be pretty close to the top 10. Sunday, we will give 1 through 10. We have them done, but we figured we'd split it up. Figured didn't want to go too long on a stream. Definitely come football season, Sean, I will be streaming longer, especially Thursday nights.
Yeah, once the season begins and once it gets closer, we'll definitely be able to do more stuff.
Yeah, and maybe even we'll have to talk about what day works, but maybe even doing like a review show on like Tuesday night or something. You know, saying how our weekly projections fared against what we said for the week. But yeah, even just during the Thursday night games. Just being here, chatting it up with whoever wants to watch the game and talk football.
Yeah, we could
football for
definitely
the
do
season.
something. We could definitely do something for all that, and definitely make it that we interact with everyone more with stuff, kind of like a draft night, doing that with football. But non-NFL related, the USC and UCLA notified their app for the Big Ten has been accepted. So they're actually, this is their last year coming up in the
Wow.
Pac-12.
Wow. So, I mean, when they do that, I mean, I don't know how they determine what conferences they can play in.
I think it's probably, I think because of the region where they are, they could, but it's, I mean, there's a lot of people coming, not people, but teams coming and going. So it's definitely changing in college. And I think it's because you got to think about these teams and players. They got to start playing tougher conferences and all that, and tougher people. So you got to make it that it's easier for them to get to the NFL. Better road.
Yeah. Harold says he wants to talk golf ball.
I don't want to talk about golf.
More like goofball.
You're gonna be mad when he's like top 10 this year.
Why am I gonna be mad?
Because you sat here and you'll be like, "Damn, he was this." You kept saying he's bad, he's gonna be great, and then he'll be a top 10.
He's gonna be my backup quarterback. I'm gonna take him with the last pick in the draft.
I'll draft him first round.
First
round, first pick. Who do you take it, Jared Goff?
So over in the chat, it didn't work. So I'll have to fix that. Never mind. That did not work. That stinks. I was hoping to put the link for our quarterbacks. Actually, let me go grab that and put that in the chat. Oops, let's get rid of that noise.
That one's for you.
Oh man, that's funny. So I'll put that in the chat. That was that link there from YouTube is if you want to watch our top 10. I do have it time stamped in the description. So people you can just skip ahead to Sean's top 10, my top 10, our mock draft, our fantasy mock draft. So yeah, man, Sean, like I said when we started, we're only 10 weeks away. So it's gonna go by fast.
Yeah, I mean,
we started the count. We started the countdown with 100 days to go, and we're down to 70 already. So it's flying by.
Yep, and next week we'll be in 9 weeks ago, and we can just start counting it down by the weeks now.
Yep, and some cool things coming up for the show. I did send out a tweet, so hopefully we get some takers on that to talk about. Get some fans of other teams to come on and talk about their teams. Sean's a Vikings fan. I'm a Jets fan. But we do have some people lined up. We have Payo Time, who's been on our stream before, coming in to talk Rams. Jeremy from NFL Chaos with Jeremy over on YouTube will come in and talk Jets, even though I'm a Jets fan. I have been texting back and forth with my buddy Mo Egger over at ESPN 1530 in Cincinnati. He's going to be coming on the show to talk Cincinnati Bengals football. I do have another Vikings fan who I've been DMing on Twitter, wanting to come on talk about the Vikings. So hopefully other people respond as well to that tweet I send out. Because I would love to talk about. Harold wants to talk about golf. I think he might get muted.
I think I might mute you just because you talk too much.
Sorry,
but. No, I mean we got a lot of stuff coming up, so it's gonna be an interesting few weeks for sure.
Yeah,
and I'm excited to see where we go with things.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm especially excited for the season. I think especially once the fantasy season, like fantasy really hasn't picked up yet. I think once training camp hits and preseason hits, I think guys will start diving into fantasy drafts and worrying about who's ranked where and why.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll start picking up. So
once July, middle of July, end of July comes around is when my mindset starts going to fantasy and my drafts and when they are and what days I gotta be ready.
Yeah, so
makes me a day to prepare.
Yeah, maybe we'll even do not diving in too much, but maybe giving some rookie rankings as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll dive into that, and guys, follow us on Twitter, because that's where I'll start making announcements when we have fellow fans or people that do streams or podcasts about other teams as well. And I was able to set up a thing with my spreadsheets where I can break it down by team now instead of just position. I change the team and boom, it lists all the players and all their projections as well as with the team schedule. So when we do have those people on, we can break down their teams more. So like I said, every Thursday at 7, Sundays at noon, Shawn and I live stream. Shawn, once again, thanks for being here. Like you said, on Sunday we'll give our 10 down to number 1 at the running back position. I use Golf Book, or you set up on the social. That he might lose his mod status for that.
That's a pretty good one. I'm not even gonna lie.
So that was good.
But no.
Shawn, what anything to say before we head out?
No, I mean, everyone come back on Sunday so they can see our 10 through 1 and to see who we have different. I mean, I know who we have different, you know who we have different, so I'm just interested to see what people think have difference and what they think of our opinion and what we think of 10 through 1.
No, Harold, Harold says, geez, that was funny. I'll give you that one.
But no, everyone come back.
We're not set up on the goof book.
But no, everyone come back and join us on Sunday and give us your opinions on what we think of our 10 through 1. I mean, I'm excited to see what some of people's opinions are, what our rankings are, and what we have.
All right. Shawn, once again, thank you. Harold, thank you for being here. It's your boy Ninja was here. Thank you for being here as well. And like Shawn said, we'll see you all Sunday.
See you Sunday, guys.